Hello, today I'm going to replace the power steering return hose. So a few weeks back, you can see down here that it's leaking and the leak is getting worse. So now it's time for me to replace this. But you can see that hose is all rusted out. And that hose comes down here and then it connects right here. So we need to disconnect this hose clamp and we gotta disconnect this hose clamp to replace this hose. So there's a CarQuest part. It's a 37110 part number. And replace this power steering hose. So you're gonna have to get a pan to drop the fluid in. We're gonna loosen this hose clamp and drain all the remaining fluid out of the power steering reservoir, and then we can take off the hose. So we got these hose clamp pliers. If you use these, it'll be a lot easier than a regular pair of pliers, because once it grips it, it'll hold it closed so you can slide it back. So it keeps pressure on the hose clamp. So as you can see, once you clamp the hose clamp, it doesn't move, so then you can slide it back. So it keeps pressure on the clamp, makes it a lot easier to slide back than using a regular pair of pliers. So you can slide that as far back as you need, and it'll just hold that clamp. That clamp's held open, so you can slide it back and forth. Now I'm going to take off the hose and drain out the fluid. Now you can get a pair of channel locks or pliers. You can just put on this hose and then twist it, break it free, and then you can use the pliers to push it back and empty out the power steering fluid. We got it loose, now we're going to dump it. Took it off. I got the pliers holding pressure to keep that hose hanging over my drip pan. We're going to drain that all out and then take the hose off and get the new one put on. So the new hose will come with this little plastic cap. You want to put that cap on this line so all that fluid doesn't drip out. Just put this cap on there while you're working on it. We got the reservoir emptied out. Now we're just going to completely take off the hose. Now we're on top by the power steering reservoir. You got the return hose and the pressure hose. We're going to take off the clamp to the return hose. Like I said, these hose clamps will make a lot. These hose clamps will make it a lot easier. These hose clamp pliers make it a lot easier because once you put pressure on the hose clamp, it holds it in place, and then you can just slide it down. And the hose clamp pliers, they keep pressure on that clamp so you can get it all the way down, and you can loosen it up and it comes right off. Makes your job a lot easier with the right tool. Now we're going to break this hose free, put a pair of pliers on it, and just twist it free. So the reservoir is empty. Pop the hose off. See, it's completely empty. Now we have two hoses connected by two clamps, one down there. You can see that white clamp, and you have one way down there. It's hard to see. If you look through the tire well, you got another one right there. So you can just reach through the tire well, just put pressure on this clip, push it right through, pop it up, Got that one loose. Come on top. Now just gotta get this one loose where it's rusty. You just pop it. There you go. Now the hose, once you got them off, will come right out. Comes right out. There it is. So you can see where it's all rusted up and it was leaking. So we got the new one. Looks the same. Shape's the same. There's a new one. Bends in the right spot. Everything's the same. We just have to transfer the factory hose clamps. We just have to take off the factory hose clamps, top and bottom, and reuse those. Alright, got the factory hose clamps on the new hose. Let's feed it back down. Just slide it down the path it came. Just feed it all the way down. So once you get the hose fed through, slide the clamp back a few inches, pull the yellow cap off, slide the hose on, and then once it's up there, you'll put the hose clamp back on where it's supposed to be on the pipe. Then you'll tighten up the hose clamp. Once you got it back on there, put the hose clamp back on. And there it is, nice and tight. Using that hose clamp tool is night and day, trying to get these things moving. So removing that yellow cap, the fluid goes everywhere, so I just showed you it back on. Then once you get it back on, then you'll just go and clamp down all your hoses. So you can see through the tire well, the hoses run there. Just snap it back into this clip. You just push it back down in this clip right here. It's a white clip, just push it down. That holds the hose in place. It's good to go. You'll come back up top. You'll push the hose into this white clip right here. Pretty simple. And this will go back up on the reservoir. Just gotta slide this hose clamp down a little bit. Slide the hose clamp down a few inches so you can slide the hose back up on the reservoir. And then once it's on, just gotta bring it back up. Once it's on, just pull up the hose clamp right to the base of the reservoir. This tool is a headache saver. Right there. On there tight, snug. Factory clamps are still working strong. That's all there is to it. See, it's just two hose clamps. That's all there is to it. Hose clamp there and a hose clamp there to replace that return hose that's leaking. So there's the hose. Everything's run. Job's complete. Just gonna fill the reservoir back up and we'll be good to go. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if this video helped you out.